In your book, you have traced the incidents that happened in South Africa that in turn shaped Gandhiji's character. If he had not been to South Africa, do you think we would have got a Mahatma? This is as much as Gandhiji himself did not like to be called as Mahatma, as mentioned by yourself today.
Life in 1948 in Delhi, but made in South Africa. It's a very telling phrase, born in India, but made in South Africa. And I'll just tell you why and how he was made in South Africa. Arun, friends, we are in the grip of a grim pandemic. We are talking about Gandhi. All these people were his colleagues in South Africa. They were all in the grip of an epidemic in South Africa at the time Gandhi was in South Africa. Apart from the political crisis, apart from the political rights for which they were fighting through Satyagraha, Gandhi writes that on 11 February 1904, I had to write to Dr. C. Porter, the medical officer of health in Johannesburg, regarding the shocking conditions in the Indian location. From what I hear, Gandhi wrote, mortality in the location has increased considerably, and it seems to me that if the present state of things is continued, the outbreak of some epidemic disease is merely a question of time. Friends, you will see here, look at the diversity. To the left is Mr. Dada Abdullah Sheikh. In the middle is Parsi Rustamji. To the right is Tambi Naidu, a great Tamil from Mauritius who was there in South Africa. Bottom left, Ahmad Kasaria. And bottom right, the great Tamil martyr, Valliyamma. This is the complete diversity of India. It was India in miniature in South Africa. Gandhi continues. On 18 March 1904, I received a pencil note to say that there has been a sudden outbreak of the Black Plague, and asking me to come immediately. I cycled to the site where Madanjit, his friend, had opened the lock of a vacant house and 23 patients of plague were put. Those who had witnessed the scenes at this hospital and had carefully attended to the patients crowded into the small rooms will never forget at once the ghastly and inspiring signs, ghastly because of the grim tragedy and inspiring because the event showed the ability of the community to rise to the occasion and to organize. At last, plague was declared. And then Gandhi writes, no one individual is to blame. It's very important for me to round this off by saying, Gandhi writes, the plague taught the British Indians of South Africa lessons which we trust will not be forgotten. We have a homely saying in India. That it were better for a man to lose millions than that he should lose a good name. What is true of individuals is equally true of communities. The French have a name for the artistic, the English for personal bravery, the Germans for hard-headedness, the Russians for frugality, the colonies in South Africa for gold hunger. Similarly, the Indians in South Africa have rightly or wrongly got the evil reputation of being insanitary and ignorant of the first principles of hygiene. In a letter to the Johannesburg press, I said, I admit that the poorer of my countrymen do not observe the laws of sanitation except under supervision. Do not observe the laws of sanitation except under supervision. But I do submit that they are not the keepers of public health. They are defaulters as individuals and have suffered as such. It is the Public Health Committee which has to enforce obedience to such laws. So Gandhi was becoming bhai. He was saying to his fellow countrymen, we have to be sanitary. We have to have a sense of hygiene. We are not responsible for public health, but we are responsible to follow hygiene. but it is the establishment, the authorities that are responsible. And it is they must ensure that we do the right thing. This message of Gandhi is so relevant today in the grim situation the world is facing because of COVID. In India today, COVID is a reality which is unbelievably dangerous, unbelievably scary. But it is also something which we should, can, and will overcome if we follow what Gandhi said to the Indians in South Africa then. We have to observe sanitation and hygiene in our lives and help the establishment to help us.